Come on, come on. There you go. Sorry, I'm changing screens real quick. Sorry, y'all, it's jacked. I got a technical, hold on. Islam. And thank you for joining us tonight for Girl Talk, Real Talk, Moorish Talk. And tonight we're going to be talking about the side effects of social media. And what we're going to be looking at is one key thing. Are you a product of social media? As you know, social media is a product that we are able to use for free. And as we know, anytime you use something for free, you got to think about it. You probably are the product. So looking at social media, we know that it inserts different thoughts, different feelings into your mind. And tonight, we're, as Moorish Americans, we are going to try to change that narrative and inspire you to take a look at yourself and see where you are at when you're looking at social media. So I am accompanied by my beautiful Moorish Americans. We have Sister L. Berry Bay from Temple 34, and we have T&T, Brother and Sister T. Hopkins Bay from Temple 11. So I'm just going to start us off with our first question for the evening to make sure we start off this innovating conversation. And the first question is, any of y'all can start, is what are your views on social media?
Islam, Morse. First, I rise and give all praises to Allah, honor to His holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to each and every one of you, and I give honor to where honor is due. Praise Allah. It's a blessing to be here. Honors to our host, Sister S. Johnson Hill, as well as honors and sincere, heartfelt love to our dear sister, Sister Ingrid Ill. We're praying for you. We're praying for your family, and we trust that may Allah forever be pleased with your father as he sails on smooth seas.
Praise Allah. We love you, Sister Great Ill.
Now on that question of the question of how I feel about social media, was that the question?
Yes. What are your views on social media?
What are my views on social media? I think social media is awesome. I think in this particular electrified age, I think it all depends on how we intend on using that particular tool, because we're taught that the advantage of life not in possessing good things, but in knowing to use them. So sometimes we can take those things that can be used for good, and we actually do the reverse. So we don't want to do that. And we know that occurs. That's the point of this particular topic. But I think that it's awesome when you're using it correctly. Yes. You know, so we'll dig deeper in that as the show goes on.
Islam. So what are y'all's views?
Oh, okay. Islam. I like to rise, giving all praises to Allah, honor the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honor to everything that everyone else has already given honors to all the viewers, all those who put the show together, honors to Sister Greer Ill. My views on social media is, I think that it's a good platform for people to be able to express themselves, and just be able to connect with people. Finding different groups you may want to partake in, or different conversations that you may want to have. Sometimes it's easier to converse with people online without being face to face. I think that's something that people are a lot more comfortable with, because I think that they can address things in a truthful or sincere manner better that way. And so I just think it gives people the opportunity to be themselves if they use it in that way.
If they're being themselves.
Right.
Sister Alberry Bay, your thoughts on social media?
Islam. I like to also rise and give praises to Allah, great God of the universe. I give honor to the illustrious Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and everything pertaining to Islamism and everything that you all have give honors to.
Islam.
I want to send out a high vibrational and loving thought for Sister Great Ear as well.
Islam.
And it's an honor to be here on this platform with my sisters and my brother. So I thought of, since you spoke to the positive part of it, I'll speak about the microwave intake of information.
Yes.
Social media it's being received, information being received so quickly, we are not able to process it. And we understand that it takes, we need to take one thought at a time sometimes. We get carried away, we see too much, know too much, and then we get involved and get caught up in those ungodly or unguarded thoughts, which will bring in a low vibration behavior, if you will. And I also look at social media as broadcasting, publishing, and internet, right? Those are all the levels of social media. It's been going on for so long. Internet is, I think, the newest version of social media. And we have a responsibility as an organization, us being Moorish Americans, have a responsibility in the way that we process or give out that information, if you will. Also, I wanted to give honors to Sister Weaver Bay, not Weaver Bay. Is it Weaver Bay?
Yes.
Moorish Communications. She was doing Moorish Communications since 1987.
Yes, sure.
And just to show you a little bit of something, she gave us that information. You were able to walk into that particular temple and be like, wow, Moorish communication. So you all are continuing that great work, and as my brother said, this is the electrifying ages. So it's right on time, and we ready to do that work. Let's go. Praise God.
In my view of social media, I look at it as like a mechanism that is full of different thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And sometimes I know for me, when I get on social media, I'm just like, I'll wake up in the morning, grab social media, and just start going. And even in that, most of the times when we're going into different environments, we find ways to protect ourselves from different personalities and different things that happen. And I think one thing that we have to understand is that you probably need to do that on social media too. So what I'm learning to do is, like, when I wake up in the morning, maybe I should start with my prayer. Maybe I should equip myself with my principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So when I enter into that mechanism, I'm learning and I'm viewing, what am I going to let in and what am I going to make sure that I keep out? Because a lot of times, even for me, I can see something and it will generate how I will think about something for that day. And then you enter another environment and you bring those thoughts with you. And remember, those thoughts are coming from all across the world.
Yes.
And so as Moorish Americans, we have instructions that tell us how to guard ourselves at all times. And one thing I think we should keep in mind, even when you're in technology, on social media, you better come in with some armor, because someone may post something and you may think they're talking about you, or someone may post something and you may take offense to it, or they could be talking about you. And you have to find, how am I going to react in this situation? What am I going to say? And am I still going to be able to do my job as a Moorish American and extend my hand in love to show them that the Prophet still lives?
That's right.
And it is the electrifying age. And with that, we know how it says people are going to and fro, not knowing where they're going, what they're doing, and they're doing that on social media. So that kind of brings me to the next question that I have is, how do you use the instructions to navigate your way through social media?
Instructions to navigate through social media.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Wow. Praise Allah. I always felt like you have to put thought into whatever you're doing. So there was a time where I would be on social media, and we know the Moors, they love to debate, so it's all about me seeing it accurate, it's correct, I'm right and everybody else is wrong. And when we approach things from that particular vantage point, you can stress yourself out. You can have an adverse effect. See, sometimes we have the right motivation and we want to stand and defend the prophet, and we want to put the prophet in the forefront and all of that good stuff. But we don't want to be like the fool who's on a path of wisdom toiling after folly, because shame and disappointment will be the reward of your labor. So when you're sitting there and you it's like an itch in you, almost like you want to see how people responded to what you posted. And you just want to, how many likes did I get? How many people agree with me? And now you're waiting to defend because you want somebody to go against you so you can show exactly what you think you know. Listen, that's once you mature in your Islam, you'll realize that that's not necessary. And oftentimes social media is not the platform for many of these particular conversations that Moors be having. Right. Sunday school is the platform for those conversations. Yes. If you needed clarity on something, Sunday school is the best venue for you to actually get that clarity. Reach out to your grand sheikh, reach out to your ministers, talk to them directly if you needed some guidance on a particular topic. But sometimes we throw things out there and we don't realize that many of our people are not mentally mature enough to handle the things that we're throwing out there. So getting to the point of saying, you know what, I'm not arguing today. You know what, I'm going to maintain my peace. If you want access to me, meet me at the temple. If we have things to hash out in regards to our views of the doctrine, if we see things differently in regards to Prophet Noble Drew Ali's instruction, let's go ahead and meet at the temple and do it amongst the community, so we can come to we can demonstrate some resolution. So oftentimes things are put on social media prematurely, and it's not even the avenue of communication for those particular topics.
Yeah, and I always feel like it's not a debate, it's a conversation. Like, we ain't debating, you ain't right, I'm not wrong. It's a conversation, so we can both gain some type of understanding that unites us and brings us closer to the goal, which is uplifting fallen humanity. Sister Hopkins?
Yes, I just wanted to chime in real quick. I kind of feel like, some years ago, I would post things that I was just randomly thinking, until I realized that some of those things offended some people. And to me, it has always been a thing of, these are just my random thoughts. They were not out to hurt or harm anyone. And it could be something as simple as, praise Allah, it's my daughter's birthday. Something as simple as that. And then I noticed that people would start to comment and, because they want to wish her a happy birthday or something like that. That's fine. But then I noticed that people would start to say other things. And I just was like, wait a minute, like it's not even that deep though. Like it's something simple. So having those situations happen, I was like, let me be a lot more reserved on what I put on Facebook, what I say on here. Because I remember somebody saying something like, everything she puts on Facebook is negative. And I was like shocked, like me? I put and I'm like, no, like I like happy holy day. Praise Allah, like different things. And I'm just like, people are going to take whatever you say for what they interpret it as. Absolutely. So when you put something out, if you put out, praise Allah for Friday or happy Friday, happy holy day, because some people have offense with that. They think you should only say happy holy day. But I'm putting out what I feel at that moment with no intentions of harm to anyone. And so just being more conscious of what I put out and what I say on there, because once you put it out there, you can't take it back. People can copy, share, paste, do all types of different things. So you just have to be conscious of what vibrations you're sending out into the atmosphere at all times. social media.
That's right.
You know, when I love what you said about waking up in the morning and praying. That's amazing. I definitely do that because a lot of times we don't think about, you know, when we open our eyes, we like thinking about the things that we have to get done. But not everybody wakes up in the morning.
Islam.
And we have to be grateful for that.
Islam. That's right.
So when I go on social media, I'm just on there for a few moments here and there, but I'm not taking it super serious where I need to debate someone's opinion of whatever it is that they may be experiencing. I'm here to show love and support, and honor them as well as honor myself.
Islam.
Praise Allah.
That kind of goes with this question that we got from the audience, which Sister Elberry Bay, you can kind of speak on this. Why is it vital as a believer of Allah to avoid certain conversations, arguments, etc., with others on social media?
Islam. I too, I have to camel walk with my sister, T. Hopkins Bay. I too used to think that I needed to respond to low vibrational energy because I didn't want nobody to think I was scared of them, for one. You know, that's my ego. And we understand how that vanity blinds you.
Oh, it's powerful. Yeah.
I was blind. I was blind. Sister Berry Bay, like, don't come for me. Okay, but I thought I was doing it in a very positive way. So we have this conception that it's a freedom of speech. I can say what I want. And as you said, Sister Johnson, it's a free platform, so I can do what I want. But in our principles, in our 5 highest principles known to man as Moorish American Muslims, we have what you call freedom. So that with freedom comes big responsibility.
Yes.
we have a warning that tells us here. Wait a minute, what is it? Hereby I inform all members to end all radical speeches at work, in your home, in the streets, because we have a peace. You know,
social media, yeah.
On social media, that's in your home, on your camera, thinking you in your private space, you are representing a divine and national movement. And we didn't have that before. So I transformed. I was on social media for almost 12 years. And I've always thought I was giving positive motivational messages. And so I feel what you were saying, Sister T. Hopkins, babe, people would say things like, what? Why are you taking it like that? And then I have to feel the need to respond. So now we understand that we have to, if you're going to feel that you are free to do whatever, you still have a responsibility in that freedom. Yeah. You are Moorish American or not, you know, with freedom comes big responsibilities. So your question was, did I answer your question? You said something.
You good? No, you answered it, but you know, okay. I want to add on to that. As Moorish Americans, we know the power of words. They're spirits. They carry vibrations. They create. They manifest. So yeah. I'm learning. I'm striving to really understand the power that we have been blessed with, just through that understanding. And that's when I come in talking about, yo, man, we can change the narrative. Like you really can change the thoughts that are penetrating through the world through social media, and really put forth power of good that we have.
That's right.
And so, but in that, you know, you got to be the light. You got to receive the light, be the light to be able to give it. That's and right. So I know as we travel through this, as we go through the pandemic and we're stuck in our houses, and the key element that we have right now is social media.
Right.
And as Moorish Americans, as we're trying to build our nation and build unity and love between us, this is the key vehicle that we can use to establish that, not only with the people in the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated, but with the world.
Wow.
And so that kind of brings me to the next area I kind of want to touch is, how do we extend our hand to others in love and negate the things of the lower self that bring hatred, slander, lewdness, theft, murders, and harm? How do you do that within yourself? How do you penetrate that, manifest that outwardly?
Before we go there, can we jump back to that last question that we was on.
Yes, that's what I was.
Oh, go ahead. Hit me.
We got to plumb the line with that
Hit me,
one.
Hawkins,
Yes.
baby.
This line, go ahead, Sister T. Hawkins, baby.
Praise the Lord. So praise the Lord for the demonstrations. So when the sister was saying, we're representing the prophet, I wanted to touch on that because we're representing the prophet and we're representing our nation of people.
Yes.
See, when you have a picture, a lot of us, we have our pictures on our social media because we want to show our race pride because we love our race.
Come on now.
So when we have our turbans on with our buttons on, people are going to Google that and try to figure it, especially if you don't say it necessarily. But people want to know what that is, who you are.
That's right.
So being as though you are representing the prophet, you have to be who you say you are. And if you are looking a certain way, you have to carry yourself in a certain way. Listen, there may be a day when you want to be, I don't really know how to call it, but you want to take off your turban and slay your hair and, make sure you're seen. Okay, praise the Lord for that. But at the end of the day, you still have photos with the turban on. So just because you take off a turban or take off, your Moorish American
attire,
garb, your garb, it does not mean you are no longer Moorish American.
That's right.
You still have to carry out those same principles.
That's right.
Regardless of what, because no matter what, people are watching you.
That's right.
Why are they watching you? Because you're different. And why are you different? Because you have the divine instructions from the prophet. That's why you're different. And you have to act according.
Islam.
Praise Allah.
And along with that, we deal with the degree of sincerity. We have
right.
a whole chapter that's on sincerity. So when we're talking about representing, some people are not spiritually elevated enough to be able to understand what it means to represent the prophet. So we got to bring it down to a base level. You're representing you. You're representing your family. You're representing the people that poured into you and raised you up.
That's right.
You're representing your Grand Sheik. You're representing your membership. You're representing the Grand Sheik of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Jones Bey. So there's a lot of weight on your shoulder once you have made the vow to adhere to the doctrines of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So when you put that fez or that turban on,
that's right.
There's a certain mode that a certain energy and vibration you should be carrying. You made the vow that I'm going to be different. Why did you do that? Because you understood, you said that your condition can be better.
That's right.
That's right.
So sometimes we demonstrate the degree of insincerity when we come to the temple, or we're one way in the temple, and then we smile in the Grand Sheik's face, and we got all these good things to talk about, and we taking pictures with the brothers and the sisters. And after that, we go home and we start struggling with certain things. And now we feel like this is an outlet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post this because I'm upset. There's something that I'm feeling. There's a lower vibration that I don't know how to address on my own. So I'm going to go ahead and get that off on social media. That's not the proper way to do it, because you understand people on social media, all of them are not equipped with spiritual lessons. I'm not, and notice I said spiritual lessons. I'm not only talking about the lessons of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I'm not only talking about the Holy Quran or the Moorish Science Temple of America. If you are demonstrating how Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught you, then you can demonstrate the degrees of being able to relate to anyone that speaks a spiritual language when they're raising the Almighty up. When they're regardless of what name that they use for God, you are able to relate to them and vibe with them on that frequency. But some of us, we want to be steeped in the low. Remember, he's going to and fro seeking whom he may devour.
That's right. I have to speak to that. My sister and brother T. Hopkins Bey, you are absolutely right. I'm going to speak from the youngest person being in the movement out of this group here. When I came into the movement, I met the Hopkins Bey. That we always said that was our first Grand Sheik, Brother Hopkins, T. Hopkins Bey. And praise Allah for the demonstration and being diligent in what they do. I learned from them, watching that they always kept their turbans on. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I keep my hair spent, and I get it done every week. I'm covering up my hair for good, So those things do have to grow on you, but know, if you want to be a part of this, that's just me. We came in, my husband always tell us we were found outside the movement. You know, the prophet said, if you were with me 2,000 years, those who were with me 2,000 years ago is still today. We truly believe that was said because we felt that way. As I said, 11 years, it's certain things that I posted on social media, and I was like, wow, that sounds almost like the prophet, you know, in the realms of something he was speaking on. So keeping your turban on is very important. And if you going to take it off, you still have to have a certain behavior. I have to say that. And if you set the example as being the elders, and I mean in years, and being in the movement, people are watching you. They come in and watch you. I show my sister that and anyone else in my camp. Like, I'm keeping this turban on. You see how I do this? I'm not going to force you to do it, but this is the movement. This is me representing my nationality and my spiritual growth. This is where I want to go, and I'm setting an example for my children. So if I'm going to be an example or the message, I have to be true to it and sincere. I needed to speak to that. Thank you.
And I think that's where it comes to, how do we extend our hand in love? Because we have that understanding, like you have to be modest as a sister, modest as a brother, if you're living this life. Even when you're going through, even when you're in a point like, I don't understand what the prophet's saying, but I'm just gonna do what he says. Some people lack that, you know what I mean? But it's just remember when you were a boy. Remember when you used to do those things. And what would you want someone to say to you? Mm-hmm. And how would you want them to approach you? Sometimes even me, when I learn something, I think I got it, I'd be like, you know, you need to do this. You know, but I try to take it back. I was like, remember when you was a boy and you lacked this understanding of modesty? Remember when you was a boy and you wanted to put stuff on Facebook because you wanted attention. You wanted to be seen. And then when you examine your thoughts and reflect of what you thought of yourself back then, you understand it's a form of insecurity. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I feel like you can extend your hand and understand the root of the issue of why someone is doing what they're doing, and seeing if you can extend your hand to heal that wound. And with the instructions, we have the power to do that.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know, so have you guys ever had give an example or a moment in your life that someone extended your hand, whether it was through social media or any other platform, in love about something that you did in error?
Islam. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to extend your hand because you want people to know this is real time. We really working out these foes. Okay. I'm trying to change the way that I think.
Yes.
In my life. So it's no judgment, no blame for no one. This is where I'm at along the way, but I have made errors. And in making errors, even now, being a member, sometimes we think that we're right, but we carry out things because we think that's the right way to go about it. And now I have to retract my move because now I see the effects on the person. And I'm like, wow, I don't want them to think I hate them. This is just me call myself carrying out these laws or being serious, you know. And I learned that about myself for many years. I've always been serious. I'm fun. I like to have fun. We go out, we do things. But I do have a serious side that people go, you know, you can loosen up a little bit, Sister Berry. You're coming off a little religious. Right. You know, I'm being honest. So, and then my husband, and then when I get out of maybe, I wouldn't say character, but if I get in my lower self, he always tell me, stay on your meds. He used this line all the time. He tell you in a minute, you took your medicine today? You need to get on your meds. You know, and as Sister Brown would always say, I pick up my navigator so that I can find my way. You understand? So what I know is that we have what you call social duties. You understand? We are to reciprocate and confer. We need to help our sisters and brothers understand why I'm walking in this walk.
Yes.
Means, but guess what? You don't have to become a member. This is just trying to help you get some morals and some spiritual practice in your life. You know, I'm not trying to recruit anybody, but maybe you can just fix some things, find some resolution in your own experiences in your home, because the prophet let us know with these lessons you can get your house in order. We are to teach it to our children. So we have to share it with our sisters and brothers. I extend my hand to those who may have trouble in their marriages. I don't want to act like I know so much, because the prophet, his words make you think you know so much, you know. So I listen to their thought as well, because remember, this is a great program. The prophet said, help with the great program. A great program has been around for many centuries. You know, our ancient forefathers created it, right? And not to be puffed up. So it's been brought back to us to share that, a part of that great program. How do we use it for people who say, I don't want to be a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I don't want to be a member, but I like the way you wear your turban. You know, I like the way you do this, and I like the way you said that. Then I'll share that, you know, and what it means to wear my turban. Okay, I can tell you that we have two selves, a higher self and a lower self. People like that. They never heard that before. So I share basic things, because the prophet let us know it's a simple faith. It's a simple practice. We don't have to get all, like you said, Brother C. Hopkins Bay, I don't get into the debates. Sister Elberry Bay only know what she know, and that ain't nothing, you know. So, I mean, I just share the basic things, letting people know they have two selves, a higher self and a lower self. And with that, I say peace.
Islam. Did you guys want to speak to that question or make a comment?
Islam, yes. Praise Allah. Just thinking about the sister mentioned the social duties, you know, so oftentimes we don't put ourselves in the other fellow shoes, as the Prophet Noble Ali instructed us to. You know, so when I'm thinking about chapters like charity, you know, charity is a very powerful chapter, one of the shortest chapters in our Holy Quran in the Moorish Science Temple of America, but one of the most powerful, because it's so simplistic when you're looking at the heart of a benevolent man, you know, and a benevolent man, he does certain things. And it says that the faults and the failings of men give a pain to his heart. Yes. You know, so if it doesn't pain you to see somebody else err, or sometimes we're so quick to jump on our brothers and sisters, and it's like, oh, there was a time, like you said, Sister Johnson, oh, remember yourself a boy. Like, who remembers himself a boy? Who remembers when you didn't know? Right. You know, so let's go back to that moment of informing ourselves of our own ignorance. Like, you had a moment where you went through those things and you learned from your mistakes along the way, or somebody taught you or showed you the proper way. So now give somebody else the opportunity to learn and grow. Like, what is your intention? Do you really see them as your brother or sister? Or are you seeing them as an enemy of Islam, or like this is one of your opponents? You know, our young people always talking about ops. Is that one of your ops? You know, the only devil from which man must be redeemed is self, the lower self. So you really have to evaluate, like, is this the time for me to say something about this? Is this really the season for this wise sentence to be uttered? And, you know, do I have the right energy about myself for me to address this? Because sometimes there's times where, out of respect, our members, I might see them on social media and they might be going down the wrong path, you know, and that might be my perspective, but it might be a lower vibration of something going on. Before I even address it or say anything to it, I'm going to call the Grand Sheikh to let him know what's going on, because he needs to know what's going on with his membership. And I need to make sure that I'm not doing too much and just seeking guidance, because oftentimes we think that we're doing the right thing, but we cause more confusion. Yeah. You know, so even as a minister, I'm able to humble myself and take a step back and say, okay, well, what's the best way for us to address this situation? And then most of the time it's reaching out directly to your brother or sister to let them know you have support right here. You have human resources. The people listen, sometimes we see what we suffered slavery through. You know, we changed our ideals. Your ideals is just standard of perfection. So oftentimes we're looking for other people and their opinions to guide and rule over our life. That's not it. Way to go. You have people that Allah and the Prophet's lessons we have put in position already. We have gatekeepers, we have guiders, we have ministers, we have all of these resources at our fingertips that we actually make the decision not to use. You know, so praise Allah. But also, even in addressing it, be patient with our brothers and sisters. You know,
that's right.
We're not out to embarrass nobody.
Nope.
No, oftentimes it's your own ego or your vanity of what you feel like you know and what you feel is right and wrong, or I wasn't raised like that, or our temple don't do it like that. Like, Mo, pump your brakes. And let's get our spirit right. Get your energy right before you attempt to address anything.
Right.
Did you want to add to that?
Sure. So I know y'all couldn't see it, but he's like, your story. You got to tell your story. Praise the Lord. So I'm a summarize this quick story because this is specific to what I encountered. So some years ago, I had posted something on social media, and someone didn't like what I said, and they basically put a name to the statement that I wrote, although the statement did not have a name at all. It was my feelings at that time. I was about 8 or 9 months pregnant. So, we go through things, and I wanted to say what I wanted to say on this particular day. And it didn't really have anything to do with a specific person. So the person went and told a bunch of people that it was about somebody, and it caused a whole lot of unnecessary chaos, is what I would call it. And in result of that, I had to go in and have my daughter early. Well, when I finally got a chance to, because let me explain the feeling behind that. See, we at times as Moorish Americans are supposed to be able to pull each other up.
That's right.
Regardless of what you assume they're going through. The prophet says, if thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So if you thought that I was doing something that was out of my character or saying something that offended you, as being my sister, you should have called me first. You don't, as Moorish Americans, we don't go around and spread unnecessary rumors about anybody.
That's right.
Because you never know the toll that it can take on someone. And I can be honest and say, in my 9th month of being pregnant with my 3rd child, I was not mentally strong enough to handle that, because that broke me down to know that someone had thought of me that way. So when I finally had my child and I came home, I spoke to the sister and I said, what you did it was not right, and I don't appreciate it. And her response was not what I thought it would be. Praise Allah, because experiences and situations that you go through, you have to take the lesson out of every situation.
That's right.
At the end of the day, for me, I was healthy, my daughter was healthy, and the relationship with the person in whom she told everyone I was speaking about was still good.
What was the response?
The response was, don't be mad at me, be mad at what you put on Facebook.
Wow.
And that completely hurt my heart at the time. But I said, you know what? I said, that person is who they are, and I have to let them be who they gonna be. And at the end of the day, I can't let it affect me anymore, because it had literally taken its toll on me. But to this day, I still have love for her. Because regardless of what, you may have been going through something at that time.
That's right.
That's right.
You may have been struggling with something at that time. And as a Moorish American trying to live their best life, I'm not going to hold that against you. I'm going to say, praise Allah, you may have been dealing with something, but at the end of the day, I'm okay and I'm going to be all right. And I pray to Allah that you're going to do the same.
That's right.
Praise Allah.
That's right. Praise Allah. Praise Allah.
So we're getting a lot of questions on the chat. So there's one sister said, listening to you all really draws me to wanting to know more and understand more. What gives you or gave you the strength and desire to be consistent in transitioning? I think she was referring to when we were talking about wearing our turbans and not getting our hair done all the time and being okay with that. How did we make that transition? And how did we find ways to not glorify our unmodest ways on social media?
Islam. For me personally, when I joined the movement, and I started rapping my turban, you know how you don't get it right the first couple raps. Like it don't be like I gotta practice, keep practicing. And I remember somebody was like, "You look like one of them Queen Latifah videos or something." And then you know what I saw? I was like, "Praise Allah." That's a compliment. You know what I mean? But for me, it was I needed a change. I needed to be different. Because when you take on the prophet's lessons and you become to address yourself as a Moorish American, because see, it starts with self.
Yes.
If you want to take on being a Moorish American, it starts with self. Yes, we get up and we proclaim our nationality in front of everybody, but you know within your heart in the beginning that you have to make this decision wholehearted. So when I decided to make that decision, I said, I have to follow everything that comes along with it. And being modest is one of the main goals for sisters, period. Yeah. And for me, it wasn't that difficult because I knew that what I was doing was for myself, my nation, to honor the prophet, to stay in line with the instructions. And at best, you're serving a lie. At the end of the day, you're serving a lie.
So you didn't?
No, I did not.
You didn't do it for me?
Sorry.
Okay.
Not
we gotta clear that up sometimes because sometimes we
absolutely not.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, I'm for that. Thank you.
Right.
Listen, I support that 100% because sometimes we as a people we do that.
Yeah,
we
a lot
do
of my
things
family
for our mate.
A lot of my family thought that I was only joining the temple because of him, and I was like, no. Listen, this is what I feel is right, and I'm gonna go for it because I have to save myself.
That's right.
Anyone else? So praise Allah.
Islam. I would say I was wearing my turban in a different way. My mother was a person who wore a turban. She was very stylish. So we wrapped it, put our buns. So I wore it at times as a style. Making this a part of every part, my Pacific, I tell it in a very small, short story. I kind of asked Allah what was my purpose because as I always tell people, I was having some fun. I was enjoying life, been amongst many people who did big things in their mind, right? Or in their minds. And I lived a very promised experience, if you will, And so I asked myself, what is my purpose? Like, why am I here? It can't just be about lavish things and material things and having the best things in life, according to my thought at that time. And that's when, our family had an experience where it was serious situations begin to take place where I was like, oh my God, it just spun out of control. But I also, in that experience, I met Brother T. Hopkins Bey, Brother Aniel Bey. My husband and I traveled to their Ali's Men's Summit. And this was on the onset of the depression that my daughter had took on at that time. And I met Sister Dana Marnici, and I began to practice what you call key energy, chi energy, holy breath of heaven, soul one. And that became a big part of my life. And I didn't understand that Fridays was important, because I'm new in the movement. So I'm making my Friday meetings with Sister Dana all the way in Cherry Hill, driving and chanting and meditating. And because Allah put that on my lap, I knew I'm embarking on a more enhanced version of healing, if you will, myself. They was all about ancestral healing. I'm like, yes, let's break these generational curses. I'm done. And so in saying that, when I realized what a holy day meant, I was like, wow, well, I can't do that no more on Fridays because I can make it part of what I'm doing. I realized I started to unfold with the truth is one, but I have an obligation as a member to become a faithful member because I understand what that means. That's what I wanted to do. So you got to know what you want. You have to know what you want. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to put the turban on. It depends on your experience. Don't do it because someone else, it looks good. You know, when you do it when it looks good, you never get the true meaning of these divine instructions, this divine and national movement, what it has to offer you. You want to make sure that you do it because I'm ready to do this, not for show. You know, we don't do this for show. This is real. Well, some of us. I will speak for some of us. With that, I say peace.
Islam. So I'm gonna get another question that we have from the chat. Here we go, y'all. What are the benefits of being modest, not only in your dress, but in your thoughts, words, and deeds on and off social media?
Islam, that's a blessing because sometimes when we talk about modesty, brothers think that doesn't apply to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Praise
That they qualified that with in thought, word, speech, and all of that in and outside of the temple. Prophet Obadiah Ali let us know that a leader without influence of good works cannot be a leader. So that's a powerful statement right there. Like, how can you be the example for somebody? How can you be the pattern for the sons of men if you are showing that you, not saying that you don't have your own flaws and everything. It's nothing wrong with that because there's strength in your vulnerability. But when you show that you're stuck in that, when you show that you're a slave to sin, you know, it's a difference between having your struggles and being a slave to sin. You know, so you're allowing things that's outside of yourself to actually rule you. So you can't be a leader like that. At least you can't be an effective leader like that. You know, so people are looking at you, and some people, they're not they're looking for an example. You know, so they're looking for consistency. They're not looking for you to switch up. They're not looking for you to be one way here and now you're switching it up now. Or some people will label you as a fraud,
fake,
a phony.
Yeah.
So it only benefits you. We don't want it. Our lessons, once again, chapter Sincerity, it lets us know that it's more painful to hide what you are rather than to be what you are. Like, don't go through that. Why? You're actually doing a disservice to yourself. If you do struggle with certain things, be clear about it, you know, be honest about it. And when we are honest about it, and which I'm not telling you to tell everybody what your struggle is or telling everybody what your issue is, but know that within yourself, because that will keep you humble.
Right.
But when we put that polished coat on, we feel like we indestructible and we able to point out other people's stuff.
That's right.
That's not the way to do it. Modesty is the key. When Jesus entered the temple and, you know, they said, you got the wisdom of the gods. Why come you here? Your wisdom is the wisdom of the gods. Why seek for wisdom in the halls of men? Jesus, he gave the most humble but thought-provoking answer ever. Like, listen, this journey is not over. This journey is not over. You have something that I can learn from you. You have value. So when we operate from that motive, and that's a modest approach, then life is more peaceful. And people, they pick up a better vibration from you, a more pleasant odor from you.
That's right.
I totally agree, because I automatically think of responsibility, the responsibilities that we have bestowed on us. And even as we're trying to grow through our own growth and development, there are hiccups. I had several, but even in that, you're learning, like, I'm striving to be better, and you're not. And when you're striving to be better and you're okay with your flaws, then you can be vulnerable to express them, and that starts the healing process. And I think that's when you got to have courage for truth.
That's right.
We've been taught, don't be scared to talk about your flaws, not rant about them, but I messed up in these areas, but I'm working on them. Can you work on it?
And there's so much power in that statement right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, listen, you don't have to be something that you're
not.
Don't. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Yes.
You know, I agree. In the camel walk with my husband, you know, it's important to, your modesty is not just in how you dress. It's your thoughts, it's your words, it's how you express yourself, it's how you deal with others. It's so many things compacted into being modest. And I think for me, when, and I'm gonna just go back briefly to the turban and the button, knowing that I had to change my thoughts made it that much easier to adorn my turban. Because when you change your thoughts, you can change the vibration of,
That's
of
right.
everything that you used to do.
Yeah.
So the turban and your button and dressing modesty, that's the easy part. You know, thinking thinking differently. That's the challenge.
Islam.
Because every situation that you encounter, you have to handle it a different way, because we have to understand that the way we were doing things before was not the right way. And doing it with a Moorish American perspective, that's the key. I would also say one of the things that I always speak about, whether I'm at the temple or I'm at home, my husband knows, I will say, I'm not perfect, but I'm working on me. We're striving for perfection. But praise Allah for Grand Sheikh A. Hopkins Bey. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Islam.
So if you're constantly and consistently being truthful with yourself and working on yourself. See, a lot of times on social media, we have many situations come arise because we worrying about what everybody's saying on there, what they posted on there, what the pictures they taking, so we can look at what it is that they're doing and be like, do we like it or do we not like it? And then the people who are posting it, they waiting for you to say, do you like it or do you not like it? And you have to get into your mind, it does not matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is that if you sending out positive vibrations and love, if you're manifesting love, that in itself may touch someone. And that goes into, that comes from the thought of the modesty thoughts, the modesty within your dress. Please, whoever's watching, please do not wear a turban and your button and dress beautifully on one day and the next day you do not have anything on. Because to me, that says that you have not received our prophet's lessons in entirety, because you're struggling with yourself. You're struggling on whether or not it's affecting you. And if you need help, seek help. Listen, I am not a minister. I am a member of Temple Number 11, but I am here for you.
That's
because
right.
I understand, and I remember when I was once young in the movement and didn't know how to do things better. It takes time. It takes time to gradually get there.
Can I build on that with you real quick?
Absolutely.
Just briefly.
Yes. Praise God.
And to the brothers that attempt to tell the sisters how they're dressing or address the sisters about that. Listen, oftentimes that's not your position. That's not your position. You got to control yourself. But also, sometimes as brothers, we don't see things from a sister's vantage point. So our sisters often want to feel, like they're beautified, And oftentimes the brother's like, look, you better dress like my grandmother. And it's like, listen, it's two different eras. And I believe y'all talked about that on this show before.
I believe so.
So sometimes it's a clash in regards to the era that we're coming. What? Did you say dress like your grandmother? Did I say that? I don't know if I said that, but I probably implied it. I implied it at one time, but I had to know my role. I had to learn, like, listen, it's because, your grandmother, your mother, your elders at the temple, they dress beautifully, and you see it as brothers. But oftentimes we don't acknowledge, like, it's a different era now. So certain things that is their style, it's something that they are likened to. But you're still able to be modest and beautiful. That's my point. The sisters are able to be modest and beautiful. So
Yes.
attract to come in the temple ready to learn.
Right.
That's my whole thing. Come into the temple ready to learn.
Absolutely.
And look at whoever you vibe with, whether it's the elders or whether it's the younger sisters that's in. Go ahead and learn from them, because sometimes we come in and we like, I want to do what I want to do.
Right.
And brothers, we have to do the same. You got to come in and get cleaned up. Islam, Sister Berry.
Brother T, you know, I forgot to camel walk when you said that wasn't for me. That's another thing that really raised my, you know, opened my heart to my husband, because when we first met, he liked music. We come from a musical background, and he would sing these songs, and he would he go, you heard that? Do you hear that? I'll be like, yeah. I'm thinking he's talking about me, like, yeah, I heard it. You know, I got all hype. He said, don't it sound like you're talking about a higher power? I turned around and looked at him like, what? He wasn't talking about me. So that impressed me early in our relationship. And then now we pray together. I always was like, you know, I knew that whatever troubles we had out in the carnal experience, we wasn't praying together. We did it separately. We did our own thing. But now we stand up and we face the east and we pray together. At home, we pray together. We do exercises that help enhance our spiritual practice. And that's what, and you know, I'm not going to add any more, but that right there was serious what you said. It wasn't for me. So that's important to do it for yourself. Praise Allah.
Praise Allah. So you know we can talk, and it's already 7:57. So I'm gonna close this out real quick. So I just want to do closing remarks, and maybe what we can do is answer this last question as you give your closing remarks, if able. Let me try to do it. I'm sorry, y'all. It's kind of.
It was speak on chapter 6. How can we, as Moorish Americans, be the light of life?
Yeah, we can do it in our closing, of course. Well, I can't find the question, but the question was basically, when you're led by the Spirit, how do you handle yourself on social media? And I think you can reference chapter 6 in that as well.
Right.
You want to start off, Sister Elberry, on closing remarks?
Islam. So by being sincere and increasing your attentiveness to the divineness in you, the divine light. And I utilize what you call the 3 R's. I made this up: reason, reflection, and resolution. Have those things. We have these tools in a workshop of the mind where things are made of thought. So we understand that unguarded thoughts will make you entertain low vibration. But as for Mothers of Virtues, that's why I can appreciate us having the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc., because that right there confer to, or it speaks to the members, because we can't just put anything on that page. We are held to those divine constitution and bylaws. And on the Mother of Virtues, it represents the chapter 25.
Yes.
You know, we are assisting. It's the covenant of the Asiatic nation.
See that.
You know, so we are able to show ourselves in front of our community, our families, our friends, come in and see how we demonstrate, but also invite them to share their growth and development and how they're living righteously. Of course, we still all have moral values, but they just they're not charged with our laws that we have. So it's important that we support Mothers of Virtues as well. That's a plug, because if you need to post something and you know we can't post it, a lot of stuff won't make the cut on the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc. And I used to be like, why I can't go? Why?
Sure did too.
No, but I'm saying I have to learn how organizations operate.
Yeah, me
That's
too.
a part of me, because I understand why there are restrictions. I understand why you can't put certain things on this page. By examining it, I'm using my reason, you know. So I would say that keep striving, govern yourselves as much as you can. Also, let me say that Mothers of Virtues was inspired by the higher self. The Mothers of Virtues, the harmonies of life, and it breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Also, the Temple of Saqqara, which is one of the oldest known temples in the world, and also practiced by ancient forefathers, some of the most influential healers across the nation. So I want to say that keep on striving. And as Sister T. Hopkins Bay said, phone is 24 hours. I'm not a minister. I don't consider myself a minister. I'm just a sister who has an ear, know how to listen, and I can give you some divine instruction to help change and put your house in order, if you will. And you can do the same with me. Whatever you have that's thinking on a high vibration, praise Allah, let's vibe.
Praise Allah.
Say peace.
Islam, Hopkins Bays.
Yes.
You want me to go? Okay.
Yeah, you got
Praise Allah for both of you sisters. Just camel walking with Sister Elberry Bay. You know, as I spoke of earlier, also, I'm available. You know, I remember myself being young in the movement. I was 21 years old when I joined. I won't tell y'all how old I am now, but that's all right, because that's my business. But it's been a long road, and there is spiritual growth, and you begin to notice the spiritual growth within yourself. See, it's good for people to, you know, some people need that audience. It's good for people to say, you know, I see the change in you, I see this, but you know within yourself, especially if you're sincere with yourself, you can evaluate and feel the difference. It's a different vibration. It's a different internal feeling that we get. And I would just say, you know, we are representing the nation.
Yeah.
We're representing the nation.
Yeah.
And if you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Symbol of America.
Praise Allah, absolutely. I just wanted to let the Moors know I do have a videography company called Five Principal Productions. And that's one of the choices that I make, is to be mindful of the content that I put out, the type of videos that I endorse and market on my page. So visit my page and watch how I move. That's But no, remember, if you click the follow button, listen, you're not following me. Keep following the prophet.
That's right.
That's just for the app. So don't follow me, follow the prophet.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
Islam, Sister Johnson, I want to give honors to you and Sister Great Ale again.
Oh,
I love you dearly. You're doing an amazing job. Keep up the good work. And the Prophet Allah is going to always be pleased with your life works. I also want to make a speedy reparation for our Grand Sheik brother Jones Bay. On the last show, I did not give honors to our brother. So honors to you and honors to all the Moors.
Islam, yes. High honors to Grand Sheik brother R. Jones Bay. Praise Allah, and the First Lady. Honors to all those who are watching. Islam, and honors to you, Sister Grill. Thank you.
Praise Allah. And also, I'm just gonna let the Moors know. See, I'm still struggling. We talk about social media, and I'm watching y'all comments, and I'm watching y'all in the comment section. So I'm just letting y'all know your opinion matters to me, and I'm just letting you know I'm still working on that. See, even
wow.
I'm still working on it, right?
Praise Allah.
Wow.
Islam. And I guess for closing remarks that I have is just to all of viewers, be open. Just don't be open to the teachings of the prophet, but be open to the truth. And that comes in all forms and religions. And we can all learn from each other through social media, through personal conversations, but we're all striving for purity in life, and we're all striving for salvation. And on this show, I can tell you from Brother T. Hopkins Bay and his wife and Sister Elberry Bay, we're just not talking, we're actually doing. As they mentioned before, Sister Elberry Bay has a Facebook page. We will leave it in the comments, and it is called Mother of Virtues, which is a beautiful Facebook page where you can find inspiring words from the prophet, but just uplifting words, and also some different ways to meditate, which has actually changed my life. So thank you. I really appreciate that. And for Brother T. Hopkins Bay, you already know the assistance that you provide the Moorish Science Symbol America in your capacity of videography has brought us to another level, and has really spread the message of the prophet globally. And
that's right.
We have the national page, the Moorish Science Symbol America Incorporated national page, that is full of at least 8 consistent working Moorish Americans that post every day for the last 2 years about this anniversary and a week. and we generate over 6,000 followers and reach over 60,000 people every 28 days.
Praise
And
Allah.
it only speaks the words of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And if you don't know, we are changing the narrative.
Islam.
The problem will soon evaporate and we will be in God's presence 100%. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Also, keep in mind to watch our other shows, The All-Seeing Eye, which is every other Monday at 7 o'clock. The Universal Love, which is every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you're looking for more information on the Prophet, Allah, want to learn more about the Moorish Science Temple of America, we have our platforms where we have Sunday school and Friday holiday meetings on the national page every Friday, every Sunday, Friday 7:30, Sunday at 2. If you're just looking for something to uplift your spirit, check us out. Make sure you check out Brother T. Hawkins Bey's YouTube channel, because I do, and it has also uplifting words as well. Check out the Sisters Facebook page, because I read it sometimes too, and it's uplifting information and just inspiring words as well. So we hope that we helped you learn how you can change a narrative of spreading love instead of hate. And there we are. All right. Thank you for joining us and have a good night. We love you. Oh, Sister Great Ill, we see you. I can feel you in my heart. I know you landed on this plane. I'll be there soon. Love you soon. All right. Peace, y'all.
Peace and love. Peace.